let's talk about how to use your phone less in 2024.
Hi, I'm Jessica Jackson, and this is the new way to thrive in motherhood by leaning into who you are, what you love, your unique family situation, and personal mission to create a life that you actually want to live. I want to invite you to join me in saying no to the life of the exhausted supermom, burnout, victim thinking, being pulled in so many directions, suffering through survival mode, or being lost in motherhood, and say yes to building strong families and moving forward on our greatest goals in order to create a fulfilling life that we are excited to wake up to each day and become a soaring mother. This is the Thriving in Motherhood podcast.
You might be like me here at the end of the year. We just got through all of the holidays. We had a wonderful time with our family. And because of that, I found that I had a lot more time to do things on my phone. We didn't have our same rhythms and routines and structures. We weren't doing homeschool for a couple weeks. And so we had so many amazing family memories. And I had so many cracks and crevices to hop on my phone. And also because we didn't have all of our amazing rhythms and routines that I just love, that feel good when we do them, I've had uncomfortable feelings. And sometimes I would escape into my phone to deal with them. And so I need to detox and reset my phone usage from that level. I also went through my review process of the year and was able to reflect and doing that and discovered quite a few things. First of all, I noticed that if I am, listening to an audiobook, even a great one, or working through an online course, even a great one, or jumping down some Hallmark movie rabbit holes, right? I find that I want to use opportunities to be on my phone more. And so therefore, I let my kids play longer or not come do jobs with me, or I cook dinner more often by myself, or I try and get them to bed and I'm a little more frustrated with their bedtime routine so that I can have more time by myself. And that is a problem. Now, I also noticed that I was surprised by how much we did this year. I was surprised by the amount of ventures we had. I was surprised with the relationships we had. I was nurtured it and developed in our family and our community. I was surprised with all the progress we'd made on projects around our home and in our homeschooling. And I had to ask myself, why? Why did I go through the year telling myself I wasn't doing enough, we weren't doing these things, that it wasn't a priority, that I needed to do more and be more, when I was actually doing the things that I wanted to do all the time? And I think part of it was just not having enough reflection time during the year at the end of the day to be able to kind of synthesize that and integrate that into who we are and give it the recognition I needed during the year. Because I started that review thinking wow, we're not making progress. And I ended up being shocked at how much progress we made. And so I want to live my life appreciating the life that I'm living while I'm living it, not just looking back over the year and being surprised. And so I need to change something. And I think one of the easiest places to start is this phone. Now, I also, for me personally, found that in the last quarter, when I'm doing all of the planner and business things, I let work creep more into my day. And so for me, I want to kind of rein that back in and put some more boundaries on it and get my focus and attention back on, especially my younger children. My older ones are really good and have so many different skills and interests and hobbies, but I need to kind of help my younger children become more integrated and have some more skills with me. So they need more attention. And so I need to replace some of this time I've spent on technology with just nurturing, teaching, helping my younger kids. And everyone's gotten so good with the pandemic about being patient and knowing how to function when mom and dad are on technology, because my husband works from home as a professor. I work from home in the cracks of my day. And so they've all gotten used to it. And because of that, I have found that I haven't needed to be I don't have that accountability check as I did when they were all little. And the second I pulled out a screen, they were all over me. Right now, I have a little bit more leeway, and I'm finding that I don't want to take advantage of that. And so I'm providing some maybe checks and balances. So your reasons might be different, but I take a moment and write down, what would your reasons be for wanting to use your phone less? What are the problems that you currently see in your own life that you could solve by reducing your use of your phone or technology in general, and being more present with your family? Now, let me just add one more. I'm amazed at how much this year I felt lonely and I was isolated. And I'm in a house full of 5 people. We have, we're going to see, we're getting together with friends at least once a week, if not more often. We're getting together with our church community. We're regularly talking with our family, extended family from far away. I have a lot of opportunity for connection. And so I feel like just being more present in my own home, not being on a screen, not being looking at other people's lives, will help me feel that connection and just aliveness within the walls of my own home with my regular family. When I did this technology fast last year for 30 days, if you go back, you can listen all about my experiences, and as well as another interview I did with Phoebe Cook from last year. We both had very different maybe reasons or objectives for doing it, but the outcome was really, really powerful. And so I want to bring that back into this January for myself, but also set up some things differently moving forward into the next year. So let's talk about what some of those things are. Now, the first thing I did is I want my phone to just be a phone. Now, a lot of people have switched to not using smartphones anymore. I didn't get the smartphone until a couple of years ago. I had one of those old flip phones with like the 9 keypads for I didn't even get a phone until I went to college. I didn't have one as a teenager. I had one all through college. Most of my marriage, I've only had a smartphone for probably 5 years. And so I know what it's like to live without one, and I know how lovely it is to have one, particularly because our family does travel a lot. We go on road trips. I love my GPS. We've lived all over the country. And so for a long time, I had a Garmin GPS until just a few years ago. We use this Garmin GPS all the time to help us navigate whatever city, town, part of the country we're in. And to just have Google Maps is amazing. And it's so amazing that I don't want to go back to having a dumb phone because I know what that is like. However, I do want to be inconvenienced in pretty much every other way. So I spent some time updating my settings on my phone. Now, the first thing I did was changed it to grayscale. It looks ugly. Let me show you. When I log in, there is nothing exciting about this look. It is all black and white. It does not tempt me to be on here at all. In fact, I almost feel a little bit nauseous when looking at it. For whatever reason, like it does not set well with me, which is great because I want to be looking at it way less. So what do I have on my phone? Now, I technically still have apps on here if you swipe up, but I almost can't even read them, honestly. So what I have on this main screen, all that's left is phones to call, text messages, calendar, my Google Calendar, and a photo, like the camera icon, so I can still take a picture. It's in black and white now, so I'm even using it for pictures way less, because why take a black and white picture if that doesn't even make sense? Because it's hard to see. So what's great, I deleted Google Chrome. So I have no internet access on here anymore. I got rid of, like, Google has a discovered tab. Turn that off so I can't accidentally click on anything and onto anything. And with it black and white, any entertainment is sort of pointless. I deleted all of entertainment type apps like YouTube or Instagram. I don't have Facebook on my phone, but any social media here is not on it. Now, what I do have, I still have Evernote on my phone. I use that often for note taking, and it's very helpful for me. And I have, like, the calculator. I deleted podcasts for now. I do have like Libby or Hoopla, my library app, so I can listen to those, although I will not do that probably during January, just to like turn that off. And I do have Marco Polo because that's the only way to access it. And I use that a lot for communicating with Women in Soaring Mother Society, as well as family. And scriptures. I do have scriptures on here, but again, it's harder to read. And so because everything is harder and less appealing and I really don't feel good looking at it, I just use this for phone calls now. And it's really interesting because in the past, like if I'm making dinner and the kids are playing outside, I would just pop in a podcast. Well, there's nothing, I can't now. Like I can't, there's no connection. I can't just quick search something anymore. And my kids at first were like really disappointed and they were like, well, when are we going to do that? And I was like, well, I'll write it down. We'll look it up later. Right? Like it's good for them and it's good for me to be inconvenienced. We were at the store the other day and I would normally search for the item we were looking for and see what aisle it's on. Instead, we had to find a worker to help us search on their phone to tell us where the item was. So it's just getting a lot more contact with people in our day-to-day life by this not being an option. Now, here's the problem. I have habits built in with my phone that I grab for and reach for it all day long. And so I needed to replace it with something. So my first replacement is I use my phone often at night for a flashlight. I'm up early in the morning and the house is dark and we like turn lights off at bedtime so that everyone starts quieting down. And so we use our phone as a flashlight. It's one of the lovely features I love about it. So one of the first things I did was bought a $1, less than $2 flashlight from Walmart. I went with my kids. We made a big deal of it. They helped me pick out the color. And I was like, guys, I'm not using my phone anymore as a flashlight. This is what we're using now. And they were so excited for me. So this is what I got. And now this is what I carry in my pocket. It weighs the same or less. It's got a little strap. I probably won't lose it. They'll probably take it. I will find it again. It's bright on purpose. I thought about getting something cute and I was like, no, I need something that I can see. So I've got this now to carry around with me at night and in the morning, and I no longer need my phone with me. In the morning, it's not as big of a deal because I've got really good habits. It's not around with me. As much when I'm working, I don't touch it. But at night, I'm tired and bedtime's dragging. It's too easy just to turn to your phone and start scrolling instead of paying attention to your kids. So cut that out. Now, the other thing is that I'm constantly reaching, I want to reach for it when I'm uncomfortable. I want to reach for it to search something. I want to reach for it to write it down. So I got a notebook and I decided just to carry this around, notebook and pen, so that anytime I would reach my phone, I can reach for this. So what am I using it for? Lots of things. One of the ones is if I am reaching for my phone because of an uncomfortable feeling, and I don't think I realized how often I was doing this until I made it not an option. I just write it down. I write down what I'm feeling and why and let it pass. Instead of leaning into it. I write down ideas for schedules. I'm paying attention. I talked about doing the weekly rhythm video. If you haven't checked that out, do that. I'm making notes about what's working well in a weekly rhythm as I'm building that out. I have rules that I'm coming up with the tech fast as I'm finding that I've got time. I'm jotting down ideas of what I want to do because I'm no longer spending time watching videos or listening to podcasts or reading, listening to audiobooks. So what am I going to fill that time with? So writing down ideas as they're coming to me, and it's just handy. So there's that. Get yourself a notebook. Highly useful. If anything, just to replace that habit loop. If you want to grab something, if you want something in your pocket, it feels weird not to have it there, just put a notebook in there. It's very helpful. Now, I think the things that I'm experimenting with this time that's different than maybe last time is just seeing how aggressive I want to get. So do I want, I'm kind of experimenting with not even answering messages on my phone, saving that to a set time on my computer. I check my email all day long, to be totally honest with you, because there's sales coming in. I'm trying to fulfill planner orders or journal orders, and help with customer service. And so I'm trying to not spend that much time checking my phone, because only every few times is it actually relevant, and most of the time I'm just opening loops in my brain because I can't take action on it right that moment. So I'm trying to consolidate and simplify the amount of time that I check my email during the day. I'm trying to just get really clear about when I'm doing things and why. And now let's talk about some of the great things that happen. When you're not on your phone, all of a sudden there's hours in your day. It's amazing how much I'm getting done in a single day just by eliminating the use of my phone. It's amazing at how much more, how many more conversations I have with my kids, in a positive way. And when I'm not feeling rushed and hurried to stop talking to them so I can get on to the next thing, it's lovely and enjoyable and pleasant. And so I would say this is something that we've been pretty, I don't know, really stringent with our phone usage and technology usage. I have personally, I love the principles from Waldorf education that they don't even have screens in their classrooms through high school. And so that's kind of what I want. But the reality is we've drifted. And so this is my attempt to reclaim, to add some principles of minimalism and just slow the flow of content ideas in my own life. So the last principle, though, is let's say you go through this, you decide to get yourself, set up your phone, simplify, set up your environment. And let me add that tip here too. The reason why I got a flashlight, the reason why I got a notebook is because I found that even though I set up these rules for myself about when I was and wasn't going to use my phone, I was still breaking those rules. And so I got curious, I figured out why, and I added these simple elements into my day, my routine to replace that. So as you are trying to implement this, don't be oh, it's not working for me. Ask yourself why it's not working, and then find some workaround and loops. And I love in the comments for you to tell me some of those things that you are finding that are working for you. Now, finally, if you're doing this, but you don't have anything else on your schedule, you don't know what to fill your time with, it's going to fail, because you've got to fill that void with something. And instead of focusing on what you're not doing anymore, the key to success is to focus on what you are doing. And to figure that out, you got to go watch or listen to the last episode that I just did about creating your vision for the year. So go check that out, because that's going to help you know what to do to fill your time well in your day, so that you are excited about what's going on and not just dreading the fact that now you can't even look at your phone and you already don't know what you're doing and you're totally bored and going crazy. So have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you next week.
Where you are planted, watch the blossoms grow.